because the girl was more beautiful than any flower. She was sold off to the lord of the Western Fortress. However, at the moment the girl entered the breeding chamber, the scene before her left her jaw dropped. A group of women with model-like figures, all undead, lay before her. Old Joe's wife, or more precisely, the tool he used to breed offspring. Coincidentally, a woman was about to give birth today, but the baby turned out to be a malformed creature with one head and two bodies. The Lord is immortal. Old Joe immediately erupted in curses. You produce 6, and they're all deformed. Then, have your men take care of both the woman and the baby. OSA realized that he, too, might be treated as nothing more than breeding seed. Well, the bodies were kept here, and he immediately understood that he had to come up with a plan right away. 3 days later at night, while everyone was asleep, OSA sat in a corner secretly, cutting off all his hair. Then, using wax melted from candles, he glued his hair back together. And just like that, he succeeded in creating a doll's wig. He claimed that Old Joe's second son was mentally challenged, who happened to love dolls. So he quickly forced OSA, the delicate little toy, into his room, and began to play with him. Seizing the opportunity, OSA suddenly bolted out the door. He ran past the iron walls, then suddenly grabbed a handful of black grease and smeared it on his face, waiting as the second son, panting, chased after him, only to have already lost his trail, because OSA had already taken cover. Just then, the third son, who was a bit hot-headed, happened to pass by, and seeing his brother sneaking around, he asked, "What are you doing here?" The second son definitely didn't dare to reveal the truth. After all, OSA was nothing more than an instrument of undead Old Joe's field of terror, so he had no choice but to play dumb, mumbling something just to catch his breath, and quietly discarding OSA's wig, destroying any evidence. Thus, after OSA successfully escaped from the breeding chamber, he wrapped his body in oilcloth, and disguised himself as a mute, and working in the mechanical department as a repairman while waiting for a chance to escape. Before long, an opportunity presented itself. That day, a sandstorm struck, and a digging machine, affected by the wind pressure, as a few repairmen rushed in to salvage it, which immediately resulted in a fatal crash. Utter chaos. Right then, OSA, due to his slender build, was chosen by the third son to handle the situation. OSA, leveraging his small, light frame, quickly grabbed an iron chain, and carefully climbed along it toward the digger, finally using the chain to tie it up, thus stabilizing the structure, and successfully salvaging the equipment. This brilliant maneuver greatly impressed the third son, who immediately decided to have him join his crew for the future, even promoting him to squad leader. From that moment on, OSA gained access to more resources and secret privileges. Soon, a chance to escape quietly drew near. Undead Old Joe had built an ultra-luxurious transport war machine, with the entire vehicle equipped with heavy metal protective armor, to boost both its defense and its cargo transport efficiency. Late at night, OSA secretly stashed some food, a motorcycle, and himself under the vehicle, and waited until the next day, when the war machine roared out of the city gate. Then OSA also slipped out along with it. However, things did not go as he had planned. Halfway through, an explosion rang out, deafeningly, as a group of masked cavalry charged from both sides of the dunes, intent on seizing the war machine. For a moment, flames lit up the sky, and the battle between the two sides turned the scene into utter chaos. The masked cavalry used paragliders to ascend into the sky, while dodging the war boys' thunder and inferno, and after quickly dispatching a few of them with incendiary grenades, they attempted to board the war machine using ropes. Luckily, the vehicle's escort was still with them. Use agility to take down a paratrooper. Paratrooper 1 secretly resents the Northwest. At this moment, 2 war boys, ignoring the flames on their bodies, tied ropes to themselves directly, and died together with Paratrooper 2. In the chaos, the supplies that OSA was hiding under the vehicle were also affected. What he has to do now is to try to save the motorcycle. Fortunately, his position has not been exposed yet. At this time, 2 cavalrymen quickly approached, skillfully, placed a bomb under the vehicle to survive. OSA couldn't take care of the motorcycle, and had to switch to disarming the bomb, but he had to crawl out and expose himself. The 2 cavalrymen immediately rushed to drag him out to the wheels. At a life-or-death moment, the war boy controlled the mechanical arm and fiercely reached down from above, taking out the cavalryman, and saved OSA from danger. The bomb was successfully disarmed as well. Of course, they didn't discover OSA, and OSA returned under the vehicle, planning to continue hiding, waiting for both sides to fight to the death, then reap the rewards. Unexpectedly, the masked cavalry had made thorough preparations, using various attack methods against the war vehicle, not to mention I don't feel. OSA understood. If he didn't act soon, he would likely be buried in the desert with the vehicle. So he chose to join the fight. He grabbed the bomb, he just disarmed, and threw it forward. The explosion instantly blew up the cavalryman and the vehicle ahead, taking both men and machine out. The driver quickly slammed the steering wheel, while swerving the vehicle off. He also took out several cavalrymen. OSA took the opportunity to pick up the important parts and repaired the damaged front radiator, repairing it well. Only then did the transport captain Jack realize there was a stranger in the convoy, and she was a woman, but he couldn't think much about it now. The most important thing was to first deal with the masked cavalryman. OSA thought clearly and acted calmly and decisively, clean and efficient. With his involvement, the transport team began to turn the tide. At this point, the enemy only had gliders and powered paratroopers closely following. Meanwhile, all the war boys had died. OSA correctly predicted the glider's flight path. He quickly used the mechanical arm to take down the glider, then swiftly climbed back onto the vehicle, first hitting the paratrooper with a crossbow, preventing escape. Finally, he activated the deadly meteor hammer switch, burying the last paratrooper in the desert. Not bad. Once everything settles down, OSA held a gun to Jack and was about to seize the luxury war vehicle, but OSA still lacked experience. Jack's face changed sharply. He suddenly slammed the brakes. An emergency stop reversed the situation, also pushing OSA off, who fell hard onto the scorching desert. Then Jack left swiftly, leaving behind a cloud of dust. OSA's face was covered in oil and blood. In such an environment, with no water or food. He definitely wouldn't survive more than 3 days. Just when he felt hopeless, Jack returned. You're ruthless and smart enough, can disarm bombs, can repair vehicles, and can take down gliders. If not for you, we would have died today. It turned out he truly admired this woman, and invited OSA to join his transport team. He would teach her survival skills in the wilderness, and wouldn't ask about her past or any other matters. OSA could have killed him then. Jack grabbed the war chariot and escaped swiftly, but the other party turned back, showing sincerity in their invitation, which made him hesitate. His intuition told him this man was trustworthy. From then on, Oscar became a member of Jack's transport team, and Jack kept his word, teaching all his survival skills for the apocalypse.